Sawadee ka!
Sawadee Maika!
Sawadee Maika!
Alright guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm a girl with a horse tattoo, and today you're tuned in to the first episode of Life After Travel. My earring just fell off, so you know what, I'm gonna take off the other one, and I'm just gonna be natural, okay? I'm so excited for this channel. Here, this channel is gonna be talking about some friends that I've met abroad, and I'm going to be asking questions about how they have transitioned back to America, or if they are still abroad, how are they transitioning with the global pandemic and not being able to travel as much as before. So let's get into the video. My first guest is someone that is super awesome, super spontaneous, super adventurous, super free-spirited, and I am so excited to welcome her to LAT. Please give a warm welcome to Manon.
I'm dancing in my room, swaying my feet, trying to give you love and a kiss on your cheek. Hey.
Okay, so I originally wanted to, be with my guests wherever they were across the world, but it is a global pandemic, so I cannot do that. But I am here in spirit with you. I am sending my love, and I want to start off with, where are you? Are you in Thailand? Where are you? We met in Thailand. Where are you now?
Right now, I am in Mexico. Yes.
These are my maracas.
Yeah, some invisible maracas.
Yeah, maracas. Okay, you're in Mexico. How did you get in Mexico, and pretty much why are you traveling? Why not be at home?
Yes. Yeah. It's really interesting to be traveling now during a global pandemic. With that being said, there's less options of where you can go as a US citizen, but Mexico always had its borders open. I arrived in Mexico. I started in Tulum, and I have such an infinity for the Caribbean. So I started in Tulum, and that was about 2 months ago, and I've been in Mexico that whole time, but I started traveling in June. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I sold my 2002 Ford Taurus, and I just am kind of not looking back. Times are tough, but I just didn't want to just sit on my couch being depressed 24/7.
Okay.
And we have one life to live, so we really have to make the most of it, whether it be a pandemic or not. So I'm very proactive about just keep propelling forward and keep doing you, and keep finding creative ways to, it's not always going to be easy. Today I'm man, it's Thanksgiving and I'm in Mexico, and it's the first time actually ever I've been away from family. So today has actually hit me a little bit hard, but I also feel super grateful at the same time to have, even people like you reaching out and asking me, hey, can I interview you for my first episode of my podcast? And that just made me so grateful and so thankful just to have all of these connections scattered all across the globe. And I wouldn't have these networks and connections with all these beautiful people if I just sat on my couch and I just stayed in the town I was from.
What I'm hearing is that being abroad, it energizes you, it revitalizes you, and it gives you a vision to propel yourself forward. But you also mentioned your family, it is a holiday today. How do they feel about you being abroad, and how long have you been abroad, and what created this initiative to come abroad?
Answering the first question, how does my family feel? Well, my mom is my biggest cheerleader, and we are like sisters. We're so close. We talk to each other every day. And she's like, look, you're going to be way happier in Mexico than being back in the United States with all this political mess going on. I get an immense amount of support from my grandparents.
Okay.
They're kind of shocked about what I do. When my grandma Linda writes me, she's like, you need to write a book. That's so amazing. it just baffles me that you do these things. I'm trying to put an old lady voice on, but and then my mom is always just like such a cheerleader. She's always supporting me, and she was like, look, just make your goal to travel for the next 2 years straight and just stick to that goal.
But it's been more than 2 years.
Well, there's been breaks. There's been breaks. Living out of my backpack. I have an Osprey Kite 35, which I highly recommend if anybody wants to do serious traveling. Go to REI and buy yourself an Osprey Kite. They're really good.
Okay, pause. I don't know what that is. Explain to the viewers if they're like me.
Oh.
She just went up and got. Oh, okay. It's like a hiker's backpack, but it's like, oh my gosh, I always wanted one of those. Yes, and it's super comfy on your backpack. Yeah, it's super, and like it fits your backpack like a little curve, your spine. And then you have that security, like somebody can't jack you because it's around your waist. There's so many different compartments, so you can have all of your things organized and separated. Yeah. Let's do a segue. This is, we've talked very, very surface level. How has your view on humanity and the world changed by traveling? How has that impacted you, and how have you influenced others?
Yeah, that's such a great question. I'm so happy you asked these questions beforehand so I could think about them, because I was actually sitting outside like really digesting these, and I wanted to say it in the most transparent, authentic manner. And right now, as I'm talking to you, like you're my friend, but I'm also kind of like low-key nervous.
No. When I tell you I have mad respect for you, like you emailed me and you were like, I can't believe I made such an impact on your life. I'm so surprised. Girl, I look at snaps and pictures and videos of us on my phone all the time. Like, I had such an amazing experience and memorable experience, and like getting lost on the street from like doing random things, like going to the winery, going to the temple with all the monkeys, dancing in the street in the middle of the night, going to the ocean and dancing by the ocean, like coming up with these crazy ideas for our classroom. Like I have so many memories with you. So just find a way and be comfortable.
You visited me on Valentine's Day too, and I remember when you came on the train, and I was in this small town called Patalong, and I was like, yes. And then we went to Trong, and
okay, so
and for you, I just love your dancing. You guys, like, her dancing is amazing. Like, you're just so high energy, and I like the Megan Stallion one, the most recent one you put. I was like, shake that ass, twerk. Shake that ass, twerk. So, humanity. How's my worldview been changed through traveling, and how do I view humanity? I think for the most part, people are really good, and people have good intentions and are good-hearted.
Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, so a prime example of that with my travels is Thailand, because in Thailand there's a term that's called the puak, and that is your Thai family. And within the first week of the town that I was placed in, I met this amazing family of 4. It was a mom, a dad, and 2 sisters, Gam and King Pai. And I started tutoring the daughters, but the mom was like basically just turned into my mom. And I remember our teachers through our course said, if you have a Thai puak, you're very lucky, because not everybody will. It's kind of one of those acceptance things, but they saw me as their daughter. I had a different skin tone. I'm from a completely different socioeconomic background, and they just really brought me in as their own daughter. And I was so taken aback by their generosity. They got me a motorcycle so I could ride a motorcycle to school. They cooked me breakfast, lunch, dinners. There would be times where I was like, no, you don't have to cook for me. And they really show their love through food. So the mom was always cooking and making fried noodles and soup, and inviting me into her home. And they took me to their other house in Karabi, and everything was paid for. If I tried to pay for anything, they'd be like, put your money away, it's no good. The mom even got me like a beautiful black coral bracelet. I'm like, she just was so nice. She was just so nice. And I was like, I mean, I guess you could quote unquote say there's evil out there or whatever, but I do like to think of humanity as ultimately good, and there's a lot of light in this world. I think the main thing is if you vibrate with compassion and you're a compassionate human, even if you don't speak the same language, people will see you have heart and they will give you their heart. Right. So I really experienced that firsthand. And I like to kind of quote Anthony Bourdain on this. It doesn't matter what language you speak, two strangers can sit down with each other and have a meal and enjoy each other's company. And I think that's so true. And I think that's an insight into humanity. I think humanity really is arts, culture, and food, and you blend all those things together. And I've experienced that firsthand on my travels, and I'm so lucky to have that love given to me from complete strangers.
Right. I can remember the first time I saw you, my first impression. We were leaving a hotel and we were getting into a van. I don't know where the van was headed. I think the van was headed to Ban Samsung. And I remember you getting into the van and you were sitting behind me and you were in conversation with another girl. And I remember you were like motor mouth. You were talking nonstop. You were smiling. You was laughing. And you had some kind of like necklace or bracelet that you were talking about that was special to you. And it was really beautiful. I think it was blue. And I remember saying like, wow, she's so relaxed and she's so open and she has this aura, this spirit that's coming off of her that's so loving. And I was just like, I'm over here panicked and scared and nervous and paralyzed in fear, and I can't say anything. I want to be social and I want to meet people, but I can't open my mouth because my fear is like controlling me. And I said, that's what I want. That is going to be my goal for this trip, to exude that aura, to have that confidence, and just to be open and loving. How do you feel like you have influenced or impacted the places you travel to?
I like to think with just being like laughing and bubbly and smiley that somehow I'm leaving like a mark. I think a lot of people remember me by I'm always laughing. I kind of like make a joke. I don't have resting bitch face. I have resting smile face.
Right.
And when you smile and laugh, it's like the Buddha, he's always like laughing and smiling. So I think I'm like kind of leaving marks that way with places, and people just kind of remember the good laughs and the jokes and the good times that were had and the adventures.
Yeah, most definitely. I know I've experienced it personally, so that's the only reason why I can ask it to you. Do you often find yourself trying to imitate life back home through places and people?
Okay, yes, this is my favorite question that you asked. And the answer to that is no, absolutely no. Okay. Because I'm constantly reinventing myself. Okay. I am like a chameleon. Like almost it's like a cycle of 3 months I'm changing. And I don't imitate my life back home because my hobbies and interests are constantly evolving.
Okay.
And so, for instance, an example of a hobby that I've taken up that's new, I taught myself how to do stick and poke tattoos. I thought that was really cool.
Like bamboo style?
Yeah, like
look, I got this bamboo. I don't know if you can see it. I got this bamboo tattoo in Pai, Thailand. It says my mom. It says Mary. Yeah, it says my mom. Yeah.
It says Mary?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I have one of those too. I mean, if you can kind of see on my wrist, I don't know if you'll be able to see.
Yeah, I see it. Did you get that in Chiang Mai?
No, I actually got that in Koh Phangan, and I got that on New Year's because I went to the full moon party and I got that tattooed.
Red, that's so red.
That was a spontaneous adventure where I met a server working at a restaurant, and he was also a tattoo artist. And he's like, come back at 5 o'clock. And he just tattooed me at the restaurant as people are eating like fried chicken and stuff. And like, they're like, have like big boilers. And I'm like laying on a couch with my top off, just having a man tattoo me, the same thing.
I love it. Oh my gosh. I love that so much. You kind of prevent yourself from imitating life back home by evolving and changing and relearning and trying things. And that is a perk of living abroad. But what about people? Do you find yourself trying to create the same relationships or find similarities from the people you already know?
Yeah, so I've always been like, even like ever since I was a teenager, in high school, how it kind of can get cliquey. There's like the goths and then the cheerleaders and then the football players. I always kind of had like a girl clique, but I would be friends with a lot of different types of personality types. And I notice it can be hard because sometimes those different personality types don't want to all hang out with each other because they're so vastly different. But as I've been getting older, I think that the people that are back home that I would hang out and the people that I'm hanging out with and meeting on my travels are all very spiritual. Because as I'm getting older, I've become more of a ritualistic person. Like I wake up, I do a tarot card deck, I shuffle my tarot cards, I pick a card of the day, I meditate, I like to do yoga, I like to wear stones. I like to do things that raise my vibration. And so a lot of the people that I'm meeting are on this spiritual path too. So we're kind of just like meeting in the middle.
I definitely feel that. Like sometimes like I would just go outside and I never been able to find the verbiage for it, but like I really get healed when I'm outside, when I'm touching trees, when I'm hearing the water, when I am hearing the birds and all, I'm about to say the bees, when I'm hearing the birds and all of the creatures of the land. I'm like, when I can hear all of the sounds and it makes a song, and it feeds my spirit and it heals me. It literally heals me. What grounds you when you're abroad? How do you keep yourself affirmed and anchored, like empowered? How do you do that?
So I had a really crazy experience with blue amber. I'm wearing it right now. And I don't know if you remember me in Thailand always wearing a pine cone necklace that had crushed. I would wear it. It was like my talisman. So I'm very about stones, and I feel like stones are really healing. So this is blue amber from the Yucatan.
Why is it blue amber? It's like black and brown. Okay, that was
it's blue. They call it blue amber because when you actually put it up to the light, it's gold, but it has like kind of a dark blue flecks in it.
Okay.
And I don't think you can really see it in the video. The video won't do it justice.
Right.
But I think for me, things that I use to stay grounded, tools, a lot of them are stones. I like to wear things, feel them on my chest, feel them on my heart. I was wearing this and I had like an astral projection almost. It was crazy. I was walking down the street and I could feel like my auric field go 15 feet in front of me in all 4 directions. And I was just like, this is incredibly crazy, but it was grounding, but also was like, I was working with this stone. This is a powerful stone that at first when you wear it, you feel dizzy. You almost feel sick because the energy of the amber is so immensely strong that they suggest wearing jade to counterbalance the amber. But of course, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna wear the amber. But I do that. And then another kind of things I use to like feel grounded is like tapping back into my ritualistic practices. Like I mentioned earlier, like I'll do my tarot card deck.
Yeah.
I also do another thing called rapé, which is Amazonian snuff, basically. It kind of clears your nasal passageway. So I actually have it on my desk. I'll show you.
Look, that reminds me of the stuff that we, for sciences, it was like a vapor rub, but it was for Thailand, it was in a little tube.
Yeah, like the vapor rub, yeah.
And they used to snort it to like, it was supposed to clear your passageways, your nasal passageways, but
exactly.
Some people just use it for like, stand alert in class or stand alert.
I remember that, yeah. It's almost kind of like they're like Thai drug addicts for the menthol. They're like, I love my menthol, and then they get all like hyped about it. And I remember that in Thailand too. They were just kind of like, some teachers would be like sniffing it and stuff, and you're just like, dude, are you sniffing glue? And they're like, no, it's Vicks Vapor Rub.
How do we make it happen? How do you budget your life? Is it expensive to be abroad for this long? Like, if somebody was to say, Manon, I really like your life and I kind of want to achieve it, what would you tell them to like making it happen? Like,
this advice is going to be kind of a little bit against the grain. It's going to be kind of shocking to some people, but you've been told a lie your whole life, and that lie is that you have to save a bunch of money to travel. That's the biggest fucking lie ever. I'm sorry, I'm like, snap my fingers in a Z formation, you know what I mean? I'm like, sass. There's a website and it's called workaway.com, and it is a phenomenal resource. And that's what I've been using to do a lot of the traveling. Before, I used a program like Explore Asia, and of course that was like whatever it was, $1,200 for the course, plus you have to pay for the hotel and your flight. Not everybody has that money. So if you want to do it on a budget, what you do is you book yourself backpackers hostels, which are usually $20 or under. If you're in a place like Southeast Asia, you can get a bed for $3 US a night lots of times. It's very, very cheap, $3 to $5 US a night. And workaway.com is a great resource because if you find a good host that will host you, they will provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So they will provide 3 meals. Your lodging is free in exchange for 20 hours of work exchange. So that could be like a woofing thing where you're working on an organic farm. If you're passionate about that, you can do that. If you're somebody that likes me and you like people and you like hospitality, you can work at a hostel as a front desk receptionist. I did that all throughout the United States. And I did that in Austin, Texas. I did that in New Mexico. And I did that in Arizona. And then I'm going to continue to do that here in Mexico. That's a great thing because you need some money in your bank account, but you really just need enough for a bus ticket or to get to the next spot. And then your lodging and your food is provided for. And a lot of people don't know about that website, that resource. And there's just so much available online. And all it takes is just a little bit of creativity to think outside the box. And the lie that you've been told is that you need $10,000 to go anywhere. No, you don't. You don't. You need, I would save up a little bit, but you don't need to be working 4 years straight at a job you hate just to go and take yourself to a destination you've always wanted to go to. Now's the time to do it. Stop procrastinating, stop making excuses, and you just need to go for it.
Wow.
You know?
That was beautiful. So would you ever be an English teacher again? Or are you like, nah?
Absolutely. I think that teaching is definitely something that's ingrained in me. I think I do have like a maternal instinct. I love being by kids.
Can you elaborate on what it's been like your experience with the global pandemic and Black Lives Matter? And has it affected you? Or is it kind of like it's not as intense as it is in America? During like quarantine, I guess like 2 months after quarantine, over the summer, we lost George Floyd. It was, he was strangled to death. And then we have Breonna Taylor, who was shot in her home. And also she hasn't got justice. Yeah, they had a civil suit and she got a lot of money, but her life is not going to be brought back no matter how much money the people throw at her. And we were in quarantine and people could not take it anymore because we had lost Sandra Bland, we lost Tamir Rice, we lost Trayvon Martin, we lost Elijah McCain. We lost so many people to police brutality, and being in quarantine, everybody just had this cohesive, this collective uproar, and we took it to the streets and we protested and we made our voices heard, and it was a huge thing around America. People did not care about dying because of a virus. People did not care about being shot at by the police. People collectively went to the streets and was like, hear me roar, we're tired, we had enough, hold these police accountable. How has that been abroad? How has that been? I think were you in Mexico when this protesting started happening? Where were you?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but when George Floyd was brutally killed by that officer, that was back in May, right?
Yeah, it was around some of that time.
Yeah, so I started traveling in June. So I actually was in Atlanta, Georgia. I had a 48-hour layover to get to Puerto Rico, and I was there when the protests were happening, and people were so upset with what happened with George Floyd because it was just absolutely unacceptable. Another prime example of white police officers taking it too far, and the whole Atlanta was freaking out. There was helicopters around. People had a curfew in place, but that didn't stop people from protesting because everybody has all this time on their hands. And like you said, it's a collective uproar. People want to stand up for injustice and to get rid of systemic racism. We need to get rid of systemic racism, period. It is not accepted at all. So I really stand with my brothers and sisters for going out and protesting and putting their lives on the line. And so I did get to see that. I was walking around, I believe it's called Peachtree Avenue, which is the main avenue in Atlanta. And that is probably one of the craziest cities to be in during the Black Lives Matter movement. And it was sad because I knew a guy that he was a freedom rider or whatever. He was on a bus and he got smoke bombed out because he was protesting about his beliefs with George Floyd. And I was just like, this is just so sad. But also, I was also kind of taken aback by I love the movement, but the hijacking of the movement with the looting, that's the thing where I kind of get a little upset, because I'm like, we need to unify, but we need to also make sure that we're not destroying all these local businesses. And so I was seeing that in Atlanta, and I was seeing pictures of that, obviously too, online, of a lot of businesses getting looted and destroyed. So I kind of wish that wasn't happening. I think it also gave a platform for people that really weren't there for the Black Lives Matter movement like they should have, and they just wanted to kind of create some chaos. Because sometimes people protest, it goes from peaceful to really violent.
Think about the movie Purge, okay? So when you have the movie Purge, it's a day where people can kill anybody they want, anything they have, beef or anything, they can kill them on that one night. You have people that, okay, maybe have a good reason to go out and take somebody's life. And then on the other hand, you have people that don't have no reason, just want to have fun killing somebody. And
they're
so
like, I'm a lunatic.
so that's what you have when people are protesting. You have people with my skin just trying to get their voices heard. And then you also had people with others like anarchists, and you had extreme leftists, and you had people that just wanted to come out and cause chaos because they felt like this is the day I can do it and get away with it.
Yeah, no, that's totally true.
Let me tell you, I was out on the street and I was not destroying no businesses. But I was out every day making my voice heard, and all I wanted to do was just scream at some cops and being like, y'all need to hold each other accountable. That's all I was doing. I had no intentions of destroying anybody's property. It was a combination of people peacefully being out there, and also people just having fun because they knew they could get away with it. But yeah, let's digress.
Yeah. Hey, I commend you for that. That's awesome. So, by the way, you live in Hollywood now? Los Angeles?
Yeah, I'm in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, because this is the place Rodney King lost his life, What is your travel vision for the next 2 years of life? Like, how long do you plan to stay in Mexico? What is the ideal place? Do you ever see yourself settling somewhere in a different country? Or where is Milan gonna be in 2 years? What is she gonna be doing in 2 years? What is she gonna be feeling when it comes to traveling?
What I was thinking was, you asked me this question about 3 years ago, and we were in Trong and we were making a Coca-Cola commercial, and you were like, where do you see yourself, Milan, in the next? It feels like a fucking duplicate of that. Like I'm having flashbacks, and I go sitting on the beach drinking a Coca-Cola and twerking. No, but for real, it's so hard for me to predict.
Picture of me and you at the beach. I don't think I have a video because I've been going. I had to delete all my videos because of storage, but I do have 2 pictures of us on the beach.
Yeah, because y'all need to watch that. It's so funny. Alma and I were making a Coca-Cola commercial, and we were rolling around in the sand, and we were doing all these bloopers, and nobody was there. It was so desolate, and we're just like,
didn't we get a free boat ride or something?
Yes, because I swam out in the fucking ocean. I'm like, yo, it's my friend's, wasn't it your birthday?
Yeah.
I was like, it's my friend's birthday, and this guy is thinking I'm a fucking freak, but I was like, she needs a ride on the long tail boat. And so we got there.
You are so awesome. Y'all, Manon is the mother freaking goat. Period, boom. So, are you going to be twerking at the beach, drinking a Coca-Cola in 2 years?
Yeah, I can guarantee listeners out there that wherever I end up landing and settling my pack down, that I can guarantee I'll be twerking and drinking a Coca-Cola.
I love that.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah, keep it simple. And you know what? that can evolve. You could have your own cocoa stove. It can evolve into things. So I love how you kept it attainable, but you leaving room for it to evolve.
Yeah. Yeah, I watched this interview recently actually with Miley Cyrus, and she has her new album out called Plastic Hearts.
Okay.
And there were so many aspects of her personality that I saw in myself, but there was a little part of her interview with Apple Music, and she goes, and this kind of ties in with how I feel like I'm always evolving. She's like, every night before I go to sleep, I say goodbye to the old depth of me. So when she wakes up in the morning, she's like basically said goodbye, and she's like, kind of feel sad sometimes. And I'm like, wow, that's powerful. And I feel like that I wouldn't say it's so drastic as like every night I'm saying goodbye to the death of me, but it's definitely happening, and it's part of the evolution process.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me, Manon.
Thank you.
I'm a girl with the horse tattoo, and this has been Life After Travel. Please tune in for the next episode next Tuesday, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much, Manon.
Thank you. I'm so excited to watch it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.